Hello, we're here today in Archea, a shop on the Nieuwe Spiegelstraat that specializes in ancient antiquities. One of the specialties is Egypt. Since you've just seen a program on Egypt, many of you might not know that these items are not just museum pieces, but in fact you can collect them yourself. With us today is Vincent Geerling, who owns the shop Archea, and is going to tell us a little about collecting Egyptian antiquities. Vincent, could you tell us a little about what's available?
There's still a lot available in the market. Ever since Napoleon conquered Egypt, people have been very much interested in this civilization and have collected it. In the old days, they collected it by the case load. 2 years ago, I bought an Egyptian collection, and there was a receipt for a case of antiquities sent from Cairo to Rotterdam. And there were all sorts of nice things in there, and that was in 1904. So it's only after 1967 that the Egyptians started to ban the export on antiquities. So in between Napoleon and 1967, thousands and thousands of objects have been collected, have been exported legally from Egypt. And all these collections now and then appear, or partly appear, on the market. And that's where the art dealer comes in, and he tries to buy them for a reasonable price and offers them for sale. By the way, not only for private people, also for museums. Both the Allard Pierson Museum and the Rijksmuseum of Oudheden are a client of mine. But that doesn't mean that it is always something that a normal person could not afford. For 1,000 or a couple of thousand guilders, you can have a very nice original Egyptian object, and it is a joy to have it in your in a vitrina at home.
I noticed when I was looking through this show that the Egyptians had a highly developed sense of beauty throughout that time. Now, behind you is in fact a large sarcophagus. Could you tell us a little about this?
One of the interesting scenes on this sarcophagus is the embalming scene, where you see on the bed the deceased, and this is the god Anubis, and Anubis is working on the embalming and mummification of the deceased. Now, the details are quite remarkable, and what I just wanted to point out is that under the bed you see here 3, and here's another one, number 4, so-called Canopic Jars. These were the jars where the intestines and the heart and the lungs of the deceased were put in. And you can recognize on top of these jars the heads of the 4 sons of Horus. And each of these sons of Horus was destined to protect a certain part of the body. And it's quite amazing that you can really recognize them. Now, for example, this one is Quebsenef, the falcon-headed son of Horus, who was falcon-headed himself as well. And here I have an example of a real canopic jar in stone with the same depiction of this god Quebsenef. So here was also a stone jar. So you can see clearly what a remarkable detail paintings like this could have.
Now, not all objects are quite so big or so grandiose. Could somebody with a modest income, perhaps, who really loved Egyptian antiquities, actually find something in your shop that would be within his range or her range of financial possibilities?
Oh yes, certainly, I think so. Apart from small amulets, who nowadays also cost a couple of hundred guilders, and that is almost available for everybody. Also, slightly bigger pieces are available, as I said, somewhere around 1,000, 2,000 guilders. The problem is that if it's just old, it's not enough. It should be of a nice quality. Only things of a nice quality can give you joy for a longer time. So if 2,000 or 3,000 guilders sounds like a lot of money, it's just a matter of saving up for it. And once you have it, you'll never regret it. So yes, it's available.
Vincent, maybe you could, at this point, show us a few of the objects that may be available.
Okay, we'll get some out.
Vincent, could you tell us what you have here?
Well, I have here an Ushapti or Shapti or Shavapti, because there are different names for the same thing, and these are quite famous items of Egypt, and they are always mummy form. This one is inscribed with a number of hieroglyphic signs, actually revealing the name of the owner. Now, these little statues were given into the grave in order to work on the land at the moment that the owner was summoned by the gods to do so, because the Egyptians didn't like to work on the land, so they thought it was better to have these little fellows to answer for them, and that is one of the explanations for the name. Ushapti is the one that answers to the gods when they say come and work on the land. This is in what we call Egyptian faience. It's it's mold made, and in a very special technique, and that's why it gets this very nice color and very nice details. And these Ushaptis are always available and in various price levels. This one comes from an old collection, from an English, from the Moustaki collection, which of course adds a little bit to the price. And then depending on the status of the owner or just the appeal, because it's not always important. To some people it's important who was the owner. To others it's just important, does it appeal to me? And I think that is the most important thing, because once it is inside your vitrina, you know, you're going to enjoy it because it appeals to you.
Now, Vincent, in the event that somebody goes to the show at the Allard Pearson is so transfixed by the objects they've seen and they want to come over here and have a look, can they just come and look around your shop? And if so, how would they get here, and when are you available for them?
Well, I'm located in the Nieuwe Spiegelstraat, it's to say on the first floor. It's number 37A, first floor. It is not even 10 minutes walking from the Allard Pearson, and sometimes I feel, and I'd be happy to feel like an extension of the Allard Pearson, because nobody expects people that realize for the first time that you can buy these things to buy immediately. First you have to see what's available, have an idea of the prices, see whether you like something or not, and I will be very happy to talk about these things, and you can have an Ushapti in your hands, and if you don't want to buy, it's fine with me. If you want to buy, it's finer, but it's no problem whatsoever. I love to talk about these things, as you might have noticed, so please come and have a look. Thursday, Friday and Saturday from 11 in the morning until 5:30 in the evening.
Vincent, thank you very much for telling us about these Egyptian antiquities.
You're welcome.